Welcome to the Mizell Show.
An inspiration for a new generation.
Hi, I'm Alanna Mizell, a loving mother of two, a devoted wife to Stephen, and an entrepreneur helping women realize their dreams and potential.
And I'm Stephen Mizell, caring father of two, a devoted husband to Alanna, and a driving force to help young men prepare for life after college football.
And if that wasn't enough, we're a biracial couple.
She was raised in the North, but I was raised in the South.
The only thing normal about our lives, who am I kidding? It's never normal around here. Join us for the Mizell Show.
Right now. Hey, we are here on the Mizell Show. Happy Valentine's. Happy Valentine's
Love Day 2023.
Andre 3000. That's the song.
Is that?
It's a song, yeah, from their CD. Happy Valentine's.
I don't know that one. When I think of Andre 3000, I think, what's the picture song?
Ooh, I don't know.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to think about it. Anyway.
Think about it.
So today we are
Today's Valentine's Day.
The Valentine's Day.
And last week we talked about a little bit of, well, a couple weeks ago.
Last episode we talked about self-care for men.
For men.
Self-love for men.
Self-love.
Kind of this idea of loving yourself. And today,
we're going to go with women.
We're going to go with the ladies.
So I have to ask you a question. When I say women, when I say self-care for women, what do you think? What comes to your mind?
I think the stereotypical, and I think it's great that we're talking about this on Valentine's Day because I grew up loving Valentine's Day.
You did.
It was my favorite holiday, and it still really is because it personifies...
No pressure for me, guys.
But I don't need things on Valentine's Day. Gifts are not my love language.
No, but you appreciate a good gift, though.
I do. But my love language is quality time.
Quality time.
So... What I think is super important, the way that we're talking about self-love, is that people think about Valentine's Day and they think about the stereotypical things.
Oh, yeah.
And even what you said of no pressure on me. Well, yeah. I also think that self-love or Valentine's Day is a time for you to actually reflect on the people that you love, the people you're choosing to give your time to, and how you love yourself well, more than, what flowers you're going to get.
Or what items you're going to get. And when you talk about the whole self-love, you think about the stereotypical. I'm going to give you this, or a mani-pedi, and it goes so much more deeper when it comes to self-love.
Well, and when you actually truly love somebody, giving them a gift that is stereotypical, like roses or a mani-pedi or something like that, if it actually isn't fulfilling to them and isn't refilling their cup and refueling them, then it actually isn't loving them well or stewarding that relationship well. Yeah. Because for me, if somebody were to give me a mani-pedi gift card, I'd be like, what am I going to do with this? Yeah. I do my own nails. That is self-love for me, is when I get the time to do my own. Yeah. So all that to say, when we kind of were digging through this and Stephen talked about his a couple weeks ago, thankfully he went first and I get to go second. Because I had more time to marinate.
Process.
I think the very first thing is you have to release your idea of what self-love is. Ooh. And I say that because of what we were just talking about. Yeah. So releasing this idea that society has put on us that a mani-pedi is self-love, that flowers are self-love, that a bubble bath is self-love, that yoga is self-love. If you hate yoga... that is not self-love. If you hate a bubble bath, that is not loving yourself well. Yeah. Just because somebody else loves it doesn't mean that you have to. Yeah. And at the same time, your idea 1 week may be fulfilling, but then the next week or the next scenario or the next anxious moment may not actually bring your anxiety down. It might fuel it. For example, for me, sometimes what I need is... when I'm getting anxious, I'll start to really need to clean, right? Yeah. And by the time I'm done cleaning, I feel better. But sometimes that just spirals out of control, and then I'm pulling the entire pantry apart. This has happened. I'm pulling the entire pantry apart and going through every single thing, and then I'm cooking for the week, and it's just a little bit of kind of compounding and festering out of control. Yeah. That's not refueling, and that's not self-love.
Yeah.
Now, there is self-love for me in organizing because it makes me feel better depending on the scenario. So, all of that to say, release your idea of self-love.
And I think you, as the significant other or the other person in that scenario, has to have a pulse on that week, that month, and how your loved one might be feeling about that, what that self-love is. Because so many times, like you said, you jump to the conclusion of what they think they need for that self-love. A lot of times I'll just say, oh, I'll take the kids and you be by yourself. Well, that's not the thing you might need right now. You might want to get in our big bed, watch a movie with everybody, and that's your filling your cup for that moment, and that's what you need. So many times we just assume that someone needs this or they want this without having the conversation. And yes, the whole surprise factor is cute, and you watch the cheesy movies and it's all that, but the realistic thing that you could actually give someone for that self-love gift, or you want to show them something, is to have that communication. Like, how are you feeling? What is going on? So you can then provide that and remove that idea of what you think their self-love might be. You leaving the house for 3 hours with the kids, you might think that's great, and then you come back and be like, I thought that's what you wanted. No, I didn't want that. Or dinner, I want to go out to eat. That's something that I have learned to almost quash nowadays for us, is that yes, we enjoy going out and I guess giving back to our community with local restaurants, but also the facet of Alanna's been cooking a lot lately. She's been doing research, and it might seem like not the right thing to do to have her cook the Valentine's Day meal, but that might be the refueling piece that she wants, i.e. going out and overpaying for a Valentine's Day meal, and you'd be like, this is not worth it.
Yeah. The last couple times we've gone out to eat, I've just left
unfulfilled,
unsatisfied in my food, and right now, where I am in like my health journey, I also just don't want to eat it if I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not, and it's just such a waste of money. So the first thing is release your idea of self-love.
Yes.
The second one is release the shame of getting self-love.
Ooh.
And I think that this is huge for men and women, but I think even more so women, and there's like a next level for moms.
Yeah.
Because we have this kind of like maternal instinct of, I've got to take care of everybody else. If everybody is happy, then everything will be okay. If the house is clean, it'll all work out. If fill in the blank, then we can move on. And so many times, women, specifically moms, have the wrong idea of that. And I also think that women, as they deal with traumatic events, just think, oh, if I can just bulldoze past this, I don't need to take time to care about myself and love myself well. I just need to like keep on moving past it. And I actually reshared a video last week that I had I had done on my Instagram 2 years ago, I think it was.
Well, 2 years ago, yeah.
And it was really just honing into the only person that you're going to be able to be with for the rest of your life is yourself. So if you don't love yourself well, and you don't love yourself, then the only person that you're going to be battling with to the day that you die is you.
And I think that's so impactful for the times that we're living in right now, is that people really don't understand when you love yourself, you make every situation around you more fulfilling. I'm not going to say better, but more fulfilling. When you are happy, and you're not happy, but when you're loving yourself and taking time to...
But yes, happy. Because your life may not be in the trajectory that you thought or the way that you think. But if you're loving yourself well, it's the thing with self-love is that it's not a monetary thing.
No, true.
It could be sitting in silence, which does not cost you things. It could be going to the public library and getting a book. That doesn't cost you anything. You just have to live in the area. It's free. It's a service that is provided. It could just be listening to music. Like for me, I really cling to music, especially for self-love. And it just depends on the mood. Like, what is actually going to get me out of this? And I have a playlist that is just called Happy Playlist. And it's very few songs. But it's the songs that if I am really just a big old grumpy pants, it's what I listen to because it's going to make me happy.
Yeah.
No matter what's going on in my life. Did you know that I sell makeup? Not only do I sell makeup, but the makeup that I sell is 3D makeup, which allows you to highlight and contour your face in a super simple compact. As a mom, I could not survive without my simplified routine. Not only that, but it's exactly what you need. Exactly when you need it, all in one spot. Go ahead and check out Alanna Mizell on Instagram or alannamizell.com to learn more. Yeah, I think Happy is a huge proponent of that. And kind of going back to the first thing of releasing your idea of self-love, also you have to release your idea of what happy is. Because you individually happy, that one person you're going to be with for the rest of your life, is not dictated or narrated by somebody else. It's dictated and narrated by yourself.
Yeah.
And walking into a room or being in a room and you see somebody who is just so purely confident in themselves and they just have this demeanor about them, there's just something so powerful about that. And they don't have to be extroverts. There are plenty of introverts that I know. I'm thinking about one in particular, that he is so confident in himself, he doesn't have to say a word. And people know that he genuinely loves himself, is good at what he does, and when the time comes that he needs to speak up, he will. Mm-hmm. And there's this level of stature, but you can't do that being riddled with shame about loving yourself. So you've got to release your idea of self-love. You've got to release the shame of giving yourself self-love.
Before we dive to the third one, but my question to you is what are some baby steps to get rid of the shame? Like, what are some things that you can do to say, you know what? I notice that I have shame. I know when I do a XYZ for myself, a girls' night, whatever might be refueling, there's a little inkling of guilt, like, oh, so-and-so's at home by themselves, or now I've missed a work meeting, just something like that. Yeah.
So one of the biggest things is realizing where shame triggers are. So anytime you tell yourself, I should have, I could have, I would have, those are all shame triggers. And shame is nothing but from the devil. Yeah. And the devil is also not creative. So if you hear yourself shoulda, woulda, could've, consistently, there's actually a quote in Sex and the City, and fun fact, I wrote my college essay on this quote. Shocker, I used a quote from my college essay. But Carrie Bradshaw says, girls, have to get rid of the shoulda, woulda, coulda. Buckle up and just keep going. And now I'm like reflecting back and I'm like, dang, little did 18-year-old Alanna know about the buckle up and just keep going. But those are all, and you say them in your head. Mm-hmm. And occasionally you'll say them to somebody that you're really close with, but very rarely are you going to say, I should have done this, or I should have done this instead of that. So anytime that you hear that, that's a great opportunity for you to mentally correct yourself, but also verbally correct yourself, especially in the beginning when you're trying to figure out where the shame is coming from, when it's being super loud, is almost, I had to like remove myself from the scenario, go into the bathroom a couple of times and like out loud, recite the phrase back in a non-shameful manner.
Yeah.
So I should have gone with Steven to go take care of the kids. The opposite is, I'm grateful I didn't go because I was able to do this. So you have to say the latter out loud, because if not, the shoulda is going to be too loud in your head.
Yeah.
And shame, Rachel says this all the time, my therapist, shame begets shame. So it's just going to continue to fester. Yeah. And when you don't release it in that format, and you actually say out loud, I'm grateful that I got to do this instead. Because then when they get home, I'm going to be more fueled. And here's what I get to do. I get to play Candyland when they get home and give them 110%. Yeah. I get to actually pay attention with them, read a book with them without feeling anger or remorse or fill in the blank of that feeling.
Yeah. And I also feel like as a spouse in that situation, you have to sometimes just honestly just shut up and love them. Because, I mean, just be honest with you. So many times you will say, oh, you deserve this, or take your time, or or you need this, or something that
and it doesn't matter
and that festers
what you say.
I think that festers the shame though. When you say go out the door, enjoy this, you need this. Well, why do I need this? Why are you making me do this? And then I'm going to feel bad.
Is this an exchange?
Yes, it's an exchange. So you just, if they have something,
if I get to do this, do you have to then go do something else?
Yes. Are you holding this in my pocket for like a gotcha later? But
everybody's amount of self-love that they need is drastically different, and it changes on the season as well.
Yeah.
Like I don't need nearly as much time by myself or self-care as I did 6 months ago. It just really changes. Steven just looked at me like, "You crazy?" Yes, you do.
No, I mean it has changed a lot, and that's again, it's keeping a pulse on your significant other, or keeping a pulse on that the current season that they're in, they're needing.
I will also say, as far as shame triggers, it's really good to journal about them because you can start to see the scenario. So one thing that I like to do is if I have a shame trigger that comes up where I'm starting to say shoulda, yada yada yada, right? In relation specifically to shaming myself for self-care or anything really, I write it down in the full context. So I write who, what, where, when, why, how, all of that, kind of like an invitation, so that I can essentially invite myself to go back to that scenario later on. So I'll write it all the way down, and then I'll go back to it a day later to like reflect on it. Because if I were just to stay in that shame moment, I'm really not going to see, okay, where did that come from? Was it that scenario, or was it something that happened earlier? Is this type of scenario consistently happening? If it's consistently happening, then is removing myself, hypothetically, say Steven is going to take the kids to the zoo. Is me removing myself every time they go to the zoo what is actually fulfilling me? Because if you're seeing it constantly happen, then it's probably not.
No, yeah.
And you need to figure out a different scenario.
Yes.
Play a little, move around a little Tetris game to figure out what is actually going to fill you up.
Yeah.
Or is it a matter of, it does happen when they go to the zoo, but it's actually because my dad never came to us with the zoo. Y'all, I'm just spitting. We don't even have a zoo in Keene, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
But is it because my dad never came with us to the zoo and I just feel bad because my dad wasn't there? And now I feel like I've got to be there, so now the kids are going to think that I'm not there for them. That's a shame spiral.
You spiral. Well, yeah.
Literally. So it has nothing to do with the zoo. It has everything to do with abandonment or loneliness from my father that is not actually correlating to what's going on. But the only way to see that is to journal the full shame scenario.
Yeah.
Pause. Leave it there. Leave it in that jar. Put a lid on it. Come back to it later.
Yeah.
So that you can almost have a third-party mind when your brain can actually constructively handle that.
Yeah. And I think that's something that, is really important for you to journal in. You should write it down and then come back to this. When you put it on paper, then you read it out loud and you're able to dig in deeper. You help. Like I say, I think people take for granted the process that it takes to get to self-love. You just think it's something that you can just check the box and just do.
And I hated journaling when I first started going to therapy. Well, I've always hated journaling. And now, since the most recent trauma that we had with our most recent miscarriage, really that was the first time that I really started to journal consistently. And at first it would be like a couple words, and then I just did it because I had to do it, and then it would be bullets. And if you hate it, pick something else. It can be a verbal narration in a notes.
Yeah.
Because for me, for a long time, it was actually just getting it out. So that was how I did it. I verbally, put the microphone thing on my notes section and verbally said it because I didn't want to write it down. Because I got more anxious and more irritated because I was writing it down. So it changed. 3 years later, it has changed very drastically over time. And being able to be content with my own brain is kind of how it's transitioned from verbal. Like, I've got to just get it out and then it's gone. Versus now I'm like, you know what? I want to sit with this. I want to be with this for just a bit and really dig in. That's two very different points of self-love and progressions. So there's no shame in either one. It's whatever format actually works for you, and you start to feel a progression, kind of a release of being able to let go.
Yeah.
So the first one is love your idea release your idea of self-care or self-love. Release the shame of getting self-love. Then the third one is receive the benefits of what you need. We've kind of gone over this a little bit.
Yeah.
And what's important is to realize what you need to receive in the moment.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we talked about. And for me, I will think it's one thing, like digitally redecorating a room, and then it's 3 hours later. And then I end up feeling a shame trigger at the end of it because I thought I was loving myself well. And when we look back at it, I just ignored my kids for hours, and now I feel bad because I ignored my kids. And that wasn't fulfilling. Yeah. So one of the biggest things is if it's not going to make you feel better in 30 minutes, then it's not this kind of self-love you need right now.
Ooh, that's good.
If it's not going to make you feel better in about 30 minutes, it's not the kind of self-love you need right now.
Yeah.
And that could be a walk outside. Yes, you can take a longer walk than 30 minutes. But if you don't feel almost this sense of, I can breathe, yeah. And it's been 30 minutes, it's not it. Turn your butt back around.
Go home.
Right, figure out something else. Yeah. Go sit in silence. I don't know. Read a book. Something else. Or if like reading a book and you're 30 minutes in and you still haven't really read a page, then that's not going to work.
Yeah.
If it's, you think it's the bathtub and all you're doing is irritated because water is touching you, that has literally happened to me. Water is touching me. I don't like the temperature of it. I got too many bubbles. If you are in there for probably 5 minutes and you're still irritated, you just let that go. Yeah. If you're still in there at 30 minutes and you're feeling the same way, that's a long time to be in a bathtub.
It is a long time.
Irritated. Or like if you have your AirPods in, you're listening to a podcast, you're cleaning, doing dishes, have all of a sudden cleaned the entire pantry and it's 30 minutes later and you feel the exact same. That was not your self-love for the day.
No, and it's okay to work through the self-love. I mean, like, as we challenge you to dig in deeper and really try to find that piece of self-love, you're going to strike out. You're going to have some misses, but you're also going to find some really unique, fun things that you never thought that you could do that really give you a sense of taking a deep breath, an aha moment. And that's what our challenge is for you, to receive those benefits. And then the people around you will also receive those benefits. Yeah. They will see the refreshness. They will see the self-love benefits of you and, doing the things that you feel, or learning the things that you feel that you never knew that you needed. And that's the season that I think we're in. Like we're focusing on things that we had no idea that we needed until we got them. It was like, oh, this is actually pretty beneficial.
Well, and here's one thing that I would love for everybody to do. And if you're driving, don't do this. But close your eyes. Steven, close your eyes.
Oh, I'm doing this too with you?
You're doing it, and people that are listening are doing it.
Steven, are you going to close your eyes too? My eyes are closed.
Okay. Don't cheat. He's cheating. No, I'm just kidding. So, picture the person that you love the most in this world. Steven, if it's not me, don't tell me. Okay, picture the person that you love the most in this world. Imagine their eyes, their face, maybe the outfit that you remember the most. Think of the way that they smell. What would it be like for you to just hang out with them for an entire day? Think about the emotions that you feel as you think about them. Is it love? Is it compassion? Is it empathy? Is it just this level of pure joy and happiness? Now, what would it take for you to actually love yourself the same way that you love the person you were just thinking about? That's ultimately what we're talking about. And when you do these trial and errors of what different kinds of self-love is, that's how you're determining and getting one step closer to that person that you were just thinking about in your mind, and the way that you love them so well, and being able to turn that around and love it yourself that well.
I was thinking about myself the whole time.
Yeah, you're lying.
No, I'm lying.
You're lying because I literally told you to think about the person that you love the most.
Well, I love myself the most.
And I think another great reflection point for a lot of people, kind of in reverse, I probably should have done this first, is take out a piece of paper and write down everybody that you love. How long does it take you to say yourself?
Yeah. No, that's...
Most people would never write themselves down.
That's very true. They would put everybody else first.
They put their mother-in-law before they ever put themselves. Y'all know that ain't true.
No, that's a nice little exercise to do.
It is, and you can vividly see and smell and almost like taste their presence. Mm-hmm. And you can think about it. It's great to do it with like loved ones that have passed away. I do it with my grandma all the time, just because like she had such a vivid smell, mm-hmm. and just the way you love those people. The ability to love yourself that same way is so much more powerful.
So much more powerful. And we just hope that you guys enjoy these nuggets that Mizell given you. And you want to give us a recap?
No, because I'm already crying.
I know you're crying. It's Graham.
Can't talk about Graham.
Can't talk about Graham.
My homegirl.
Yes.
Well, and realistically, if people were really doing the exercise, they
will cry.
I mean, I'd hope so.
Yeah,
if you're emotional like me, you will.
It's okay.
Okay, so first, release your idea of self-love. What everybody else says self-love is, release that. Mm-hmm. Release the shame that you get from giving yourself or getting self-love. Mm-hmm. And then number 3, receive the benefits of what you need. So receive those benefits of realizing, I need this, not that.
Yeah.
So that you can get closer to loving yourself better.
And I think this is so impactful because so many times you put others before you and you would give those people the benefits of the world, but you wouldn't give them to yourself. So just imagine what your life would feel like if you gave yourself that love and attention mm-hmm. to get those benefits.
Yep.
We appreciate you guys. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. We appreciate you.
So if you guys are enjoying this, definitely leave us a review. Give us the feedback. If there's something you guys want us to talk about, reach out to us on our website at themizellshow.com. There is a contact section. You can put it in there. We would love to hear about it. Or you can always go over to Instagram at The Mizell Show. Also, as always, don't forget to screenshot this episode and just add it to your stories and tag us on Instagram, on Facebook at The Mizell Show. Thanks, guys. Are you loving The Mizell Show? Well, we love you all. And did you know that you can have me and Steven talk to your team or a group of 25 of your friends? All it takes is 25 people showing up on either a Zoom call, a Facebook Live, or really anywhere. Hopefully in person sooner rather than later. But how do you get us? So all you have to do is email themizellshow@gmail.com, or you can direct message us on Instagram at The Mizell Show.